The low-paying mining jobs that everybody wants. Welcome to Australian Mining for New Starters, and in today's video we are going to talk about all the low-paying jobs that everybody is lined up around the street to get. And this really does my head in, because people jump into these jobs thinking that it's a foot in the door and that they're going to make a lot of money in the future, when the reality is that the whole reason that they're offering these traineeships and the jobs that they're offering is because they want to suppress the wages. So what do I mean? So it's job ads like this. So it's a haul truck traineeship, it's a 7 and 7, but it's only 70 grand a year. And then after that, what happens? You get a full-time job, or do they just get a bunch of trainees in to go again? And the problem is that a lot of these companies, especially these traineeships that they're doing, and you can come over to the ad and have a look, that it's not full-time, it's only part-time, and it's not a full-time job at the end of it. It's just you get your experience and then away you go, and then they'll probably get more people in. And it's only 70 to, when they say 70 to 80, you know it's always going to be on the 70 side of it, and it's not full time. It's only contract, temporary. And yeah, once you've done your traineeship, and it's a surface 3 and surface extraction. If you go and have a look at the videos that I've done on tickets, they're offering you a traineeship that none of these companies around the country, except for coal in Queensland, can actually use, because all the companies have to be able to prove that they've trained everybody that they're bringing onto their mine site, and so all the formal qualifications go out the window. The next one to have a look at is the apprenticeships and traineeships with the Future Fit Academy with BHP. A lot of people are wetting themselves all over the place over this one. And again, if you're jumping into one of these traineeships that only go for 12 months, the reason that they've got set up these Future Fit Academies and all that sort of stuff, and Rio's done something similar and FMG's doing something similar again, is to keep the wages down. They're going to keep churning people through these things, so it doesn't matter if you leave. You're not going to have wage bargaining power with the employer. You will be at their whatever they want to pay you. Now, if you're a fitter, or if you're a mechanic that's actually fixing stuff on site, you might make $150,000-$160,000 a year. But if you're just one of the technicians that's doing the 12-month technician thing, I would say that would pick out at 120 grand, because what you're going to be end up doing is filling the trucks up, doing basic servicing, all that sort of stuff, and making sure the remote control gear works properly. It's going to be that sort of thing. And then you have to look at, where do you go from there? What's your next step? Can you go to another company that's going to be paying you more money, or are you stuck where you are stuck? And that's the issue. Majority of these people are stuck in these jobs. And again, the reason that these companies can do shit like this is because they've got 1,000 people lined up for these jobs that are more than happy to take the wages and the conditions that they're offering. And at $70,000 a year, if you're working the same hours in a capital city with the penalty rates included, you're probably making more money than you would in anything like this. So you just need to understand it's horses for courses. And it's the same thing with utility work. When you go through these utility jobs, and there's lots of them about, they're all 2 and 1, so 2 weeks on, 1 week off, and they're only paying between $70,000 and $80,000 a year, which isn't a real lot of money depending on the amount of work that you're putting into it. And the other thing that people think it is it's a foot in the door. But if you have a look at all the videos that I've done on the poaching rules, it's not a foot in the door, it's a foot into a dead-end job. If you want a real high-paying job, the place to do it is in the hard rock underground space. You can start off on that $100,000 a year as a nipper, a truck driver, or an offsider. Then you can move up onto the tier 2 jobs, which pay $150,000 to $200,000 a year, and then you can move up to the top tier jobs, and they pay over $300,000 a year. If you jump on as a truck driver with programmed in as a traineeship on a mine site here, I would expect that the most that you probably end up making is about $110,000 a year. That's probably where you will top out at if you're lucky enough to pick up a full-time job, because that's all that they're really paying, is between that $50 and $55 an hour. And as more companies go to driverless, which a lot of these coal companies are, and a lot of them are putting more traineeships on. And like I said, 12 months ago, the traineeship was $80,000 to $90,000. The reason that they're lowering the traineeships down is because they've got so many people willing to do it for less. So why wouldn't you put it on for less? it's just going to go down even further because you've got all these people lined up to do these low-paying jobs that they think they're going to lead to high-paying jobs that aren't. So if you want a high-paying job, you've got to start in the area that's going to lead to a high-paying job. Like surface exploration, start as a driller's offsider, end up as a driller. Drillers are making $1,000 a day. You're not going to make that as a trainee truck driver, with your next job. You have to make it all the way to the digger to even look at making money like that. And then, if you talk to anybody in the industry, the digger's like the jumbo operator job underground. It's a top-tier job, and especially with a digger job, because there's only a couple of them on site, normally somebody has to die before you can get one. So it's not a lot of jobs opening up. Whereas with the underground space, there's a lot of more employers. They're into poaching other people's workers, so the money's actually going in the other direction with underground at the moment. It's going up. But the thing that does my head in, and like I've said before, the thing that does my head in is that all these people are lining up for all these low-paying jobs. It just does my head in. I don't understand why you'd think that jumping into a traineeship that goes for 12 months that only pays $70,000 a year is going to set you up for life. Because from what I've seen and what I know about the industry, a lot of people are just being set up for dead-end jobs that's going to lead to a lot of misery. And you can see it on the Facebook pages around. We get it on our Facebook pages all the time with people asking the questions. I've got a bus driving job, I've got a utility job, I've got this job, I've got that job. How do I move into a full-time production job? How do I get there? How do I get a high-paying job? It's just constant, people getting into these dead-end jobs that aren't paying any money and not going anywhere. So that's the thing that you've got to ask yourself. If you're getting into mining, the whole reason I got into mining was to make a bunch of money, and if you're getting into mining these days to make a bunch of money, then these traineeships with BHP and Rio in iron ore and coal and all those sort of places around the country probably aren't going to give you what you want. If you want a big paying mining job, you need to look at exploration and hard rock underground. That's where the money is, that's where all the jobs are, that's where the opportunity lies. So I hope you found that information helpful, and if you could like and subscribe the channel and share this information around, that would be wonderful. Thanks.